This is the project that I'm working on today. It's a little baby quilt, baby size quilt. And I have decided that because it has Minky on the back, I thought it would be a good one for me to try this new technique on. And it was one that I saw by Matthew Boudreau on Mr. Domestic. And what he did is he used what for me is a number 5 stitch, or number 5 foot on my machine. And the other part of my setup is that I'm using let me see if I can take this off because I want you to see this. Make sure that if you're going to do a stitch like this that you've put in a needle plate that has that long hole on it, because I'm going to move my needle position over and you don't want to have any broken needles by using the wrong needle plate. So to set this up, I am coming over here and I'm going to move my needle position all the way over, and I'm going to lengthen my stitch length just a little bit. I'm going to bring this in, and what I've done previously before I got onto camera today is I attached the binding to the back. It's a 2.5 inch wide folded binding, and I brought it around to the front and I have glue basted it in place. I thought that would, I really liked that suggestion from him to glue baste that. So now I've chosen a spot on the side, not too far from a corner, and let's get started and see how easy this stitching is once this is all ready to go. Let's see. So what I'm aiming for here is I want this guide to be right up next to that binding, not pushing on it, but right up next to it. And I also am using my needle down position, and let's take a look. And let's make sure before we get too far. Yes, I do like the way that looks on the front. Oh, and on the back it looks like I have a problem, so let's start over. Alright, I've gotten this started on my binding with my number 5 foot, and I just did a couple of inches to make sure that everything was lining up the way I wanted it to. And so on the back, that looks good. I have come on to the binding just a little bit, but I am using matching thread, and so it really won't show and will still suit my purposes just fine. So let's sew a little bit here so you can see how I'm lining this up. I want that guide foot, that bar, to come right up next to the binding. I do use these gloves to help me keep a hold of the fabric. Otherwise things tend to be a bit slippery, and so I do find them to be very, very helpful. So as I go into the corner, what I want to do is I want to stop before that pleat, and I want to take a couple of stitches into the fold at the corner, and then I'm going to back up a little, and when I turn, if I've turned in the right spot, that guide bar will still be in the right spot for me. Let's take a few stitches away from the corner. Let's rearrange this and get this all in the right spot. I'll take a few more stitches, then we can look and see how the corner came out. My goal by going into the corner is, of course, just to keep that fold in place. And I like that. I think that looks really good. I'm a bit of a messy gluer, but that all washes out. If you'd like to glue baste, I do recommend it for this kind of a binding. Like I said, I'm a bit of a messy gluer, but any type of school glue, washable glue, will work. I was probably a little too generous with my glue, but it is sticking down, and that's the point. I don't want to have to be messing with trying to, let's get rid of that. I just don't want to be trying to do too many things at once here as I'm stitching along. So the glue will wash out once it gets washed for the first time. All right, I'm going to continue going along all the way around this top, and I'll be back shortly with the ending stitches. Okay, so I'm back and the binding is done, and I thought I would give you a closer look at it. I'd say it turned out quite well. It's a little inconsistent, seeing as how I haven't done it a whole lot. There's one of the corners there, and you can see how I kind of came out a little far from the edge there, but the top side does look nice and consistent. And that, of course, is probably the more critical part. The other part that I really like about this is that I didn't have any gaps in where I had missed sewing, and I didn't have to go back and fix or correct anything. So that's really nice too, that it worked out from that standpoint. All in all, I'd say the whole project, the whole binding, took me about an hour and a half start to finish. And so I think I will be able to get a little faster at it, and probably a little bit better as well. So I hope that you will give this a try and see if it works for you. So thanks for joining me today on the Everyday Sewist, and I will be back again soon with another update and another video for you. Thanks for watching. Bye-bye.